It is week 3 on the WATD fantasy football draft. 2 weeks down, harvesting stats has gotten approximately 0% easier. Still a giant pain in my ass, but we're going. So, again, just a quick little shout out for any coach that may be watching this. Q Kelly at 959 WATD.com. Just fire in those stats post game. A lot of you do, and I appreciate the ones that do. It makes my life a lot easier. For anybody else that wants to fire them our way, please do. All right, Brendan, I believe we have, so far we have 4 of your 5 and 3 of my 5 and 3 of Johnny's 5. You have a lead that looks like it's going to be close. It's probably going to be closer than week 1, but likely not to be beaten with Matt Festa's 45 points. He is in all likelihood our top performer of the week. Owen McHugh had 4 touchdowns. I do know that. I don't know what his yardage stats are, but I'm going to imagine he's going to fall short of Festa's 376 and 5 total TDs. So, Brennan, you will be declared this week's winner. I think that it's early enough to call. And Johnny, Liam Appleton had a huge game for you. He's going to be the high running back total of the week. He had almost 36 points, most of it through the air, 195 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Cohasset had 500 total yards in that game against Pembroke on Thursday that we had on WBMS, and they could not pull it out. But I'm going to say, we both had the number 1 pick. Brennan, you're third. Johnny, we're going to go heads or tails in live time. Which would you like?
Tails.
Great. You're number 1. I'll take number 2. Brendan, you are number 3. So with that, Johnny, you are on the clock with the first overall pick of the week 3 fantasy football draft.
See, I actually hate having the first overall pick because I have my guys, and then I'm like, oh, are they worth the 1? But I'm gonna stick to them.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna go. Jeez. I'm gonna go. Oh wow, I hate who they're playing. Okay. I am going to go the first selection with. You know what? He's the guy I had in mind. I'm gonna go Jake Falco, quarterback of Pembroke. Played well on Thursday in their win, and hoping he can do the same through the air.
He did look really good. We got our eyes on him for the first time on Thursday against Cohasset, and he did look really good. Just absolutely slings it. And he's got a full complement of receivers, and I was talking to Coach Aborn today. They don't even have one of their top targets back from injury yet. So that passing offense could be really one of the better ones in the area, and I think that's in large part due to his big arm. All right, I will go second overall here, and I will say that Dave Quinlan, hat tip to Dave Quinlan. He had a big week for me, but I've left something to be desired at the wide receiver position with my drafting. So I think I'm gonna go wide receiver early. I'm gonna stick in Hanover though, and I'm gonna go with Joe Curran. Joe Curran's been having a big season so far, back-to-back big weeks for him. And I'm just going to hopefully ride the hot hand here. They've got a game against Stoughton. We'll see if Joe Curran can come through for me. All right, Brennan, your first pick.
I'm just looking over these lists here, and I'm trying to avoid going down the usual road, which I've been infamous for doing, which is taking a known guy that everyone's already picked. So I'm going to switch it up here. I'm actually going to take Owen McHugh this week, and I know you took him recently, but I love that matchup. I think that game with Holliston is going to be a shootout where we're going to see like a 35-28 game, and he's going to have to be the guy leading the charge for them. He's going to keep them in it. I know Todd Kiley does a hell of a job over at Holliston. He'll have them ready to go. So it's going to be a showdown.
I like it. All right. Owen McHugh, third off the board. Yeah, I mean, he had 4 touchdowns for me this week. He's up to 7, I believe, through the air on the season. So, yeah, 3.5 touchdown per game average. So expect him to put up some points for you. All right, Johnny, kick off round 2.
Okay, let's see. I'm see, I'm eyeing Duxbury, but then I hate the matchup at Franklin. Franklin's looked really, really good. So I might have to stay away from them, or maybe not. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Gavin Wardwell from Rockland. I just think
Go
I
ahead.
think that Whitman Hansen's been good recently, but I feel like Rockland's gonna do some things in the air versus them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. They've got a really good front 7, I know, at Whitman Hanson. They've got a lot of big physical guys. So are they going to be able to bottle up, Coldstring and Leander? Maybe they rely on Michael Moriarty a little bit this week. I will say Gavin had a great game for me, just not in the stat keeping section this past week. 2 interceptions defensively for him. I just don't have a place for that in our fantasy stats.
That should count.
It should count, but it's not going to, because I can't try to also track down defensive stats. I just refuse to do that to myself. Second round here. I'm going to dip into the running back pool here. I'm going to go with Gabe Rodrigues out of Quincy. We're going to have their game Saturday, so I can control whether or not I have stats in some regard. And he's playing Westwood, so I don't have to worry about a South Shore on South Shore. My allegiances are firmly in the corner of the Presidents. He's had a great start to his season, so I'm going to go Gabe Rodrigues here. All right, Brennan.
So I was like Johnny, I was looking at the Duxbury players. How couldn't you, especially those receivers after we saw their game with Situate last week? But I'm going to hold off there just because of that matchup. And I'm going to go with a running back here. And it's the next guy on your list. Greg Izzy-Gonwin from Randolph is going up against Cathedral. I think they're going to be running the ball heavy this time. I think Randolph gets the lead, and then they keep handing it off to him to keep burning clock. And eventually he's going to pad up some stats, I think.
I was eyeing him this week as well. I'm glad he came off the board. It was a matter of time. I think he's super, super talented. They've got a good offensive line. Chris Paul kind of anchoring it for them in front of him. I think this is the right opponent for him to come off the board. I think he's going to have a big week for you, Brennan. All right, Johnny, kick off round 3.
Yeah, that one's tough. He was actually going to be my guy with this pick. So I'm back to the drawing board. I am going to go running back. I'm going to go with Rocco Scarpolini from Mansfield. I think that's a good matchup for Mansfield against Doherty. I think they run the ball, and I think they have great success.
They're going to be hungry coming off of I don't want to say an upset loss, but a late loss to North Attleboro at home. Yeah, I think they're going to be hungry to get back on the right page offensively after, just a 3 touchdown performance. And I think he could be in line for a big game. With my 3rd round pick, I'm going to close up my wide receiver group, and I'm going to go with a Pirate. I'm going to go with Austin Bongo. Hull's going up against Boston English this week. I can't, I don't know a great deal about that matchup. But I love what Austin Bongo has been doing. He kind of came on late for them towards the end of the season. I know he had a big game in, I think he had either an interception return or a kick return in their semifinal game last year to get them to the Super Bowl. He's been pretty good for them in their first 2 games this season. So I'm gonna rock with he's first team all name for the area. Austin Bongo, that's a guy I want in my corner. I want to see Bongo on the back of my jersey. All right, Brendan.
All right, so I'm thinking of going back to the Hanover pool here because I like their matchup with Stoughton. I know David Quinlan was my pick in week 1, so I'm going to change it up and go with Joe Curran this week. I think they are just as talented athletically, and they'll be putting up some big numbers.
He went off the board second overall. So
Oh, well, sorry. That's why I got to take notes then. Then I got to cross that off. And I don't want to take David Quinlan again, even though I know he'd still put up some big numbers. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go to the Duxbury pool. I'm going to take Zachary Falls after last week. I think he's been the guy that's really improved in that offense. They've been trying to recruit him there for years, and you can see why. He's got talent.
did he transfer in from a prep school or something?
No, I think he just played a different sport. I think they said he was either a track athlete. They kept trying to get him to join the football team, and they finally did this year.
There you go. No shortage of athletes there. It's honestly amazing. Every year that wide receiver group feels like it graduates somebody that they can't replace, and then you have Zach Falls score a pair of touchdowns and just look absolutely phenomenal against Situate. I like the pick. I think that they have they have a tough matchup against them. So Festa is going to need to go off, and Zach Falls is going to be a piece of it. I think that what we're going to see a lot this year with Duxbury is people trying to take away Chris Walsh. That's going to open things up for, for Adam Barr, for Zach Falls, for whoever else in that outfit, for Colin Quinlan. So I like the pick. All right, Johnny, round 4.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to push my chips in the middle with this Pembroke team. I'm going to go Jack Tassone. I'm going to say if they do anything on offense, I'm going to get points for it. They run the ball, they pass the ball. So I do like the matchup for them. I was really impressed by their win last week. I think it probably shows my 4 picks being from their offense, but I think he has the chance to have a big game.
Yeah, I think he does as well. He's one of the best pure athletes in the area. He can kind of do it all for them. Threw a touchdown pass against Cohasset, one of Will McNamara's 3 on the game, with that end around double pass that they ran. He just does it all. So I like the pick for you, Johnny. All right, I'm gonna go back into the running back pool, and I don't love the matchup on the road against a fairly 2-0 Taunton team, but I'm going to go with Nate Tullish. He's been putting up big numbers, running back from Middleborough. And I think it's just, he was a guy we knew going into the season was going to be very good. It's a matter of time. And I'm saying that week 3 is the time that Nate Tullish needs to come off the board. So he is my 4th round pick, and that closes my running back room.
I believe I still need a running back and a receiver. And since Joe Curran was off the board and I wanted to take a Hanover player, maybe I'll go with Nick Friel to close out my running back class.
Sounds good. Had a big game this week. I want to say, so he had 10 carries for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's one of the more physical backs in the area, and I think that's going to play for them this week. And again, hey, listen, I'm not going to hate on. I feel like we have been heavy Hanover through the first couple of weeks here, but they are one of the best in the area about keeping their stats together and publicizing them. I saw Danny V give him a shout out this week for that exact reason. So it's a good lesson. You want your kids to get exposure, then give me their stats so I can expose them. All right, Johnny, kick off round number 5.
I'm going to finish it off. I need one more wide receiver. This is a team that didn't play last week, but they had a nice win week 1, and I don't hate their matchup at all. In week 3, I'm going to go down to North Quincy. I'm going to take Nate Caldwell, wide receiver from North Quincy, hoping they were able to use the off week this past week to game plan for Malden Catholic, and hoping they'll look to him.
I like the matchup. We saw Weymouth this Saturday against Newton North, and take nothing away from that Weymouth team, but they beat Malden Catholic week 1 25-0. And just from seeing North Quincy and seeing Weymouth, obviously didn't get to see them head to head, but I think North Quincy is an even more talented team. So I like the matchup for them a lot against Malden Catholic. And man, I think that Nate could be poised for a big game. He was an X factor for me week 1, just simply in the special teams game with two punt returns for touchdowns. So he can get it done for you in multiple ways, Johnny. All right, my final pick. I need a quarterback. I'm gonna go with Tyler Lennox out of Carver. Had a great week this past week against Sandwich. Got Carver their first win of the season. I think he's super, super talented, and they're gonna have their hands full with SJP, not Prep St. John Paul II this week, and I'm gonna lean on him to have a big game for him. So I'm gonna go Tyler Lennox out of Carver. Close us up, Brennan.
Now I got to pick a receiver here, and I don't know. I've been leaning towards this Brockton-Lincoln Sudbury matchup just because I think Brockton's taken that next step as a program, and I think LS has kind of fallen back one step. So I think Brockton could have a big game. I know everyone wants to pick Cam Montero, but I'm going to switch it up and take Austin Newby this week. I think the offense will open up for him, and he'll have some opportunities in the slot and over the middle, and could potentially put up some big numbers against the LS team that isn't as strong as it's been in past years.
Seems like he's also going to be a factor for them in the ground game, which gives you kind of that added bonus there. They like to get him involved coming out of the backfield. So a good pick for you there, Brendan, and a good way to wrap it up. So that is our week 3 fantasy draft. I'll run them down again. Johnny, Jake Falco at quarterback, Rocco Scarpolini and Jack Tassoni at running back, Gavin Wardwell at wide receiver, and Nate Caldwell at wide receiver. Quinn, Tyler Lennox is the quarterback, Joe Curran and Austin Bongo at wide receiver, Gabe Rodrigues and Nate Tullish at running back, and Brendan Owen McHugh doing the cornerbacking with Greg Izadamwen, Nick Friel in the backfield, and Zach Falls and KO Osunubi at the wide receiver position. Those are the week 3 squads. You can find them on our Twitter at SE at SE on WATD. And this week we're gonna let you know or let us know what you think. So look out for that Twitter poll, who you think is going to win the week. All right, that'll do it for us. Week 3 draft in the books.